Topics today include our today's topic, the .NET framework. We will talk about .NET framework, then Studio.NET environment, then VB.NET, and then introduction to VB.NET, a bit of introduction, and then loops and control structures. Again, let's to make them more stronger, and so that you guys can have a strong grip on loops and control structure. So it will be our second time to study loops and control structure. Okay. So what the .NET framework, okay, what is the .NET framework? Common language runtime, .NET manage assemblies. Okay, so .NET is a common language runtime. I hope you understand what does common language runtime means. It is a runtime for many languages. Many languages are working together in a form of network. That is why it is called common language runtime. Okay, .NET manages assemblies. Yeah, it manages assemblies, and then compilation of .NET code and .NET framework class library, .NET languages, and the future of .NET. So we will start with the first one. What is the .NET framework? Okay, in the .NET framework. So what is the .NET framework? So primarily development platform, mostly affects application development. Yeah, it's a development platform and mostly affects application development. Yeah. What does it mean? That normally one can develop application using this framework. Consists of two main parts: common language runtime and .NET framework class library. So let's go to the first point, common language runtime. Here is CLR, common language runtime. So provides a runtime environment for the execution of code written in any .NET language. Okay, I'm repeating it again. Provides a runtime environment. The CLR, it provides a runtime environment for the execution of code written in any .NET language. Yeah, if you write code in any .NET language, so it provides a runtime environment to execute that code. Manages the overall execution of .NET code. Yeah, the runtime, the common language runtime, the CLR manages overall execution of .NET code, inheritance, memory, debugging, and application development across multiple languages. Yeah, across multiple languages. This is right. It manages the overall execution, and also manages the inheritance, memory debugging, and application development across multiple languages. So anyway, CLR continued. Languages that utilizes the .NET framework must follow the CLS. CLR, yeah, it is still continue. Languages that utilize the .NET framework must follow the CLS. Yeah, it should must follow follow the CLS. CLS means Common Language Specification. Outlines the rules and standards required are needed by the CLR to execute .NET code. Yeah, these are the common language specification. Yeah, each language has its own specification. So a language that utilizes the .NET framework must follow the CLS. Let's suppose if one is writing a code in Visual Basic .NET, so he or she needs to follow the CLS, because if he or she will write the syntax of C# in the editor of Visual Basic .NET, so it will be a problem. I mean, the compiler or debugger will give issues or problems, bugs. I mean, so this is what it means. For each language there is a specific CLS, and one should follow that CLS. The CLR will execute manage assemblies. Yeah, and the CLR then executes manage assemblies. Okay. Before going ahead further, I'm keen to check the feedback of students. Any feedback? Okay, students are here and they are listening me. Okay, so intermediate language managed by the CLR are called managed code. The CLR, okay, the intermediate languages managed by the CLR are called managed code. Yeah. Uh, the intermediate language, which is normally managed by the CLR, Common Language Runtime, that intermediate language is called managed code, okay, are called managed code. The CLR will manage for the IL. IL means intermediate language or intermediate language. The CLR will manage for the intermediate language garbage collection, object instantiation and memory allocation. Okay, these are the three things which normally CLR manages for the IL. Okay, components written in managed code. Components written in managed code by the CLR are called .NET Managed Assemblies. The components normally written in managed code by the CLR are called .NET Managed Assemblies. I hope you understood what this line means. Okay, let's go ahead. .NET Managed Assemblies. Basic units of deployment of .NET applications. .NET Managed Assemblies, the basic units of deployment of .NET applications, similar to the Microsoft COM objects. Okay, each managed assembly contains a manifest, whole definition of other components required for execution of the applications, and then prevents the problems associated with conflicting DLLs, and revision numbers and components are listed in the manifest. Two versions of the same DLL can then coexist. Okay, these are the .NET managed assemblies. I mean basic unit, and then similar to the Microsoft COM objects, each managed assembly contains a manifest. What does it mean? It means that holds definition of other components required for execution of the application, and then prevents the problems associated with conflicting DLLs. DLLs stands for dynamic link libraries. They are talking about the DLLs, libraries files. Okay, revision numbers and components are listed in the manifest. The revision numbers and components are listed in the manifest. Two versions of the same DLL can then coexist. Yeah, two versions of the same DLL can then coexist. मतलब .NET क्या मैनेज करता है? लाइब्रेरी फाइल्स को मैनेज करता है. उसके अलावा जो कॉम ऑब्जेक्ट्स है, कॉम ऑब्जेक्ट्स में पहले पढ़ा चुका हूँ, इनको मैनेज करता है. इसके अलावा और ऐसी असेंबली है जो एक जगह पे मैनेज करता है और उसको हम क्या कहते हैं? मैनिफेस्ट. ठीक है, और उस मैनिफेस्ट में बाकी कंपोनेंट जो है उसके डिफिनीशंस ज़रूरत पड़ती है मैनिफेस्ट को, ताकि वो एप्लीकेशन को एग्जीक्यूट कर सके. एप्लीकेशन क्या है? सॉफ्टवेयर को कहते हैं. और जैसे प्रॉब्लम्स आते हैं जो लाइब्रेरी के साथ कन्फ्लिक्ट आते हैं, वो इश्यूज रिजॉल्व करते हैं. तो ये .NET इस किस्म के असेंबलीज को मैनेज करते हैं. असेंबली जो है लाइब्रेरी से ज़्यादा एसोसिएट वर्ड है. ठीक है, लेट्स गो अहेड. ठीक है, compilation of .NET code. How normally a code is compiled in .NET. Okay, okay. Why this emoji with okay MSI? Okay, okay, we are going ahead. Okay, so actually today I'm struggling with flu, so anyway, but still okay. Compilation of .NET code. All .NET languages are first compiled into an intermediate language called MSIL or IL, Microsoft Intermediate Language. Yeah, intermediate language, you know, normally, yeah, this is common. We have studied before in the C++ assembly language that the high level language is normally translated into intermediate language and then to low level language. Okay, so in the .NET language, the process is the same, that the language will be first interpreted or translated to the intermediate language, normally called MSIL or intermediate language or Microsoft Intermediate Language. Okay, the MSL is then just in time compiled at first execution of the code and managed by the CLR. Okay, what does it mean that the MSIL is then compiled at first execution of the code and managed by, okay, it is managed by the CLR, Common Language Runtime. all MSIL or IL intermediate language code can be compiled directly to native code with the following. Okay, yeah, you can directly compile intermediate. वो रही देखें, जो कोड आप लिखते हैं उस कोड को डायरेक्ट मशीन लैंग्वेज जो 01 है उसमें ट्रांसलेट नहीं किया जाता। उसके बीच में एक और लैंग्वेज है जिसको हम इंटरमीडिएट लैंग्वेज कहते हैं, वो जिसे बाइट कोड भी कहते हैं। उस इंटरमीडिएट लैंग्वेज में हमारा जो प्रोग्राम होता है इंटरमीडिएट लैंग्वेज में कन्वर्ट हो जाता है, ट्रांसलेट हो जाता है, और फिर वही लैंग्वेज क्या 01 में तो मशीन को 01 समझ आती है। डायरेक्ट इंटरमीडिएट लैंग्वेज मशीन को भी समझने में दुश्वारी है या नहीं आती उसको, ठीक है। ऑल MSIL क्या चीज़ है, वो इंटरमीडिएट लैंग्वेज है। आर इंटरमीडिएट लैंग्वेज कोड कैन बी कंपाइल डायरेक्टली टू नेटिव कोड विद द फॉलोइंग। नेटिव कोड कौन सी है, 01। कंपाइलिंग नेटिव कोड्स विल प्रोवाइड फास्टर स्टार्टअप एग्जीक्यूशन ऑफ द कोड, ठीक है। Compiling native code will provide faster startup execution of the code। या देखिए मशीन 01 को आसानी में समझता है और बड़े फास्ट तरीके से, एक्यूरेट तरीके से उसको प्रोसेस करता है, ठीक है। तो अगर आपका प्रोग्राम जो आपने लिखा होता है कंप्यूटर उसको प्रोसेस करता है, समझता है, तो उसको उसमें ज़्यादा टाइम लगता है बनिस्बत अगर आप प्रोग्राम 01 में लिखें, बाइनरी में लिखें, ठीक है, लेकिन वो हम लिख नहीं सकते, वो हमारे लिए मुश्किल है। तो हम अपने ज़ुबान में प्रोग्राम लिखते हैं, फिर वो मशीन की ज़ुबान में ट्रांसलेट होता है। और मशीन की ज़ुबान, व्हाट इज़ द नेम ऑफ मशीन लैंग्वेज, दैट इज़ बाइनरी लैंग्वेज 01। Performance during execution of the code will then be sacrificed. Performance during execution of the code will then be sacrificed. Yeah. Compiling native code will provide faster startup execution of the code. Performance during execution of the code will then be sacrificed. Yes, if you are writing a program in a high level language and then it is translated to intermediate language and then to binary language, so you need to sacrifice the performance because your performance will be degraded while translating it 2 or 3 times. So during JIT means just in time optimization is placed on the managed code in order to improve performance at the time of execution. Yeah, somehow anyway still optimization is applied to improve the performance of while execution. And whose performance? Machine performance. Here machine means computer. Okay, I hope you are understanding. Okay, .NET framework class library. .NET framework class library. But before teaching you this slide, let me go to the comment section. Okay, where is your CR? Ishaq? Okay, he's not here. Okay, Ishaq and Osman Ghani both are not here. Okay, so .NET framework class library. What is how library works out? What are class libraries in .NET framework? Let's study something about them. Provide a library of base class that developers can use in their own application written in any .NET language. Okay, provide a library. What library does? Library provides a base class which lies there at the back in the library or somewhere in the C drive, and we developers normally import that base class in our own program, in our handwritten program, and that language, that handwritten program can be in any language, VB, C#, Java, any language. Okay, because of the use of these base classes, inheritance can then be extensively used in languages that use the .NET framework. Yeah, all those languages that normally use .NET framework, inheritance can easily be used in those programs or in those languages which normally .NET framework supports, because with the help of inheritance we optimized our code, we reduced our time, we make the code more efficient by using the base classes which lie there at the back in the C folder or back in the libraries. So this is what the benefits of .NET framework libraries. Okay, I hope you are understanding and you are with me. Okay, .NET languages. What are the languages in the .NET framework? .NET application can be written by any or a combination of many .NET languages. Yeah, you can write the .NET application in any language which is normally there in the .NET framework. Let's suppose languages include in .NET framework we have VB.NET, which currently we are studying. We have C#, we have Java Sharp, J Sharp means Java Sharp, managed C++. Yes, C++ is there, default in Studio is set for managed C++. Okay, so managed C++, It is also there. C++ managed means default in Studio is set for managed. Yeah, the default settings normally belongs to managed C++. Okay, application can be developed without the use of Studio.NET. Application can be developed still using a simple text editor. ASP.NET applications as well as other apps can be still developed using Notepad. Yeah, still I have seen a lot of people, and still there are many people who are developing applications without using the .NET Studio, because you can write applications with .NET Studio, or you can use Notepad, WordPad, Note++, etc., other simple editors to develop your applications. It depends on your choice. Okay, the future of the .NET framework. What is the future of the .NET framework? Okay, so let me go to the. I'm here. So okay, Ishaq came. Okay, Walaikum salam. Okay, I'm really impressed by the DP of Ishaq. He's having, I think, a football under his foot, right foot, and okay. Uh, Today I'm a bit struggling with my health. I have flu. I have already. I'm I'm coughing. I have a bit temperature. So anyway, let's keep continue our course. Standards were released in 2000 from Microsoft to the community. The future of, yeah, we are discussing the future of the VB.NET framework. It's very important slide for you guys, because those who want to develop apps in Visual Basic .NET, so they should know these things. What is the future of .NET framework? How long it will work, and when it is going to be obsoleted, or what new things are coming in VB.NET? What is the market of VB.NET? So all these related questions are very important for you guys. Anyway, let's move. Standards were released in 2000 from Microsoft to the community. Yeah, some standards were released in 2000, almost 20 years before, from the Microsoft to the community. Community means software developers, programmers, for those peoples. And what were those standards? Okay, I will tell you. Just hold on for 1 second. GNU .NET is a project in the Linux community that is presently developing a CLR to run in the Linux. Oh, that's great. I mean, we have a common language runtime CLR for Windows, and for Linux, GNU.NET is coming. Those who want to develop apps using Linux operating system, so they wouldn't install CLR, the .NET common language runtime. They will not come and install CLR common language. They will install normally GNU.NET. Okay. So normally, currently it is under development, or it is almost about to be developed soon. And once the GNU.NET gets available in the market, so you may buy it, you may download it, you may purchase it, and then you may start developing apps in the Linux operating system as well. Okay, languages planned to include the CLSR. And those languages which normally are planned to be included in the CLS, CLS, just we studied a couple of slides before, common language specifications. Okay, so APL, it is a language. COBOL, it is a language. EFL, it is a language. Fortran language. Haskell language. Mercury, Modern, Auburn, Pascal, Perl, Python, RPG, and Scheme. These are a number of languages which are normally which are planned to be included in the CLS. Okay, a couple of slides before, I also said that CLS includes the syntax of a specific language, and CLS is a common language specification. And it may also include the common syntax which are normally applied in many languages, but it will be very short in number or in percent. Okay, so anyway, let's move forward. Studio.NET environment. Normally, also environment means the IDE, integrated development environment, the IDE. So Studio.NET, the start page, and then problems with Studio.NET in the lab environment. So we are going to study first the Studio.NET environment. Okay, and okay, so Studio.NET, the start page, and Okay, so the okay, okay. I'm sorry. I'm getting some messages on WhatsApp. Anyway, so Studio.net, the start page, problems with Studio.net and the lab environment. So first we are going to study this one. Study Studio.net. Okay. So here is Studio.net. All present .NET languages are included under one development environment. Yeah, that is the Studio.NET is the one development environment. All the present languages are included in this one development environment. Development environment. When using any one of the languages, the Studio must be used. There is no longer an environment for each language. Okay, before we were having stand-alone separate environments for each language, and now we have a common language runtime Studio.NET, and each language can be used after installing this .NET Studio or Studio.NET. So this is what does it mean? This is what it means. I mean, there is no longer an environment for each. Yeah, I already told you. Standalone environment or less dependent these days. Okay, you have to start a new solution project. Projects are containers that contain the files associated with a particular project. Yeah, in project we have many containers, control objects, and blah blah. We have a lot of things that are normally associated with a particular project. Okay, so you have to start a new solution, a new project each time when you are going to develop something new, new app, a new module, anything. So a solution is a container that contains one or more projects or project containers. Okay. So in one container we have one or more projects or project containers. So these things are available in Studio.NET. When the ID started, you have the project tab, online resources and my profile. Okay. It means that in the IDE, in the integrated development environment, when you when you start it, so you have the project tab, online resources and the my profile. Where let me show it to you. Here, this is the start page. So here you have projects, then you have academic and online resources, and then my profile and environment setting, and then tab for additional help. This tab for this view, and my ref test means previous projects. This is a previous project. This is start a new project. This is new project. Open a project in a different location. This is a project normally you can open in a different location. Okay, so this is the first, and this screen is modified with the passage of time. The Visual Studio.NET which you have installed currently may have a bit different GUI than this one, but the purpose, the main objective is the same for each GUI. Okay. uh, Problem with Studio.NET environment and the lab. Okay, so there are some problems with the .NET environment, but let me go to the. Thank you, sir, for the compliment. Okay, so uh, we have two classes. The other classes is operating system, and some guys they are telling me that you people also have a paper today of Shafiq Saab. So what do you think? Or should I take the second class of operating system right after maybe we have half an hour more, and I think at 11:35 our second class is going to start. So what do you think? Should I take this class as well, or should I? Taking one class today is enough. So should I not take that class? Okay. So I need your feedback here in the comment section, and let me finish a few slides further. So we are on the 15th slide. So we will start Visual Basic.NET tomorrow. I'm keen to finish this slide today. Problems with Studio.NET environment in the lab. .NET security must allow access to the J drive, the local intranet, in order to work properly. Yeah, you know the J drive, the USB, or other drives on your LAN, local area network. I think because of the security, these it is not allowed to .NET to access these drives. Problems arise when debugging apps on an ASP.NET server that is not part of the current domain. CLC basic apps will still work fine. Okay, apps will still work fine, but the server ASP means active server page. This language is available in .NET framework, and this language is normally used for developing web applications. So when you are debugging, you are finding bugs in your apps on an ASP.NET server that is not the part of the current domain. I mean, you are sitting at your home while developing an app, or you are working on a computer which is a part of a local area network, and you want to access, you want to debug your app on ASP server, which is not a part of that local area network, which is outside of their domain. So maybe you will face some problems while debugging your app. So this is what this point means. Okay, these problems are not present if IIS and remote debugging tools are installed on the client machine. Yes, if you have installed the IIS is also a web server. Okay, it is available normally in the Windows as well. It is something like server internet, intermediate internet server, something like. Okay, let me search it for you here. IIS. Here we can search it. IIS. So IIS server. Here is the server. Stands for what? So you see, Internet Information Services. I already told you, Internet Information Services are server. This is, and formerly Internet Information Server. Yeah, formerly in my era when I was a student, at that time it was something like Internet Information Server, but presently people call it Internet Information Services, and it is present here in the Windows. Okay, it is available in the Windows, and I think first it was introduced in the Windows NT technology. Anyway, so if you have installed this IIS server and remote debugging tools, there are some remote debugging tools which normally these days which are normally coming by default in the Windows. So if you have installed those these apps and servers, so I wouldn't think that you will face too many problems or issues or bugs while running or debugging your apps on the external servers. Okay. So this solution is fine for students, but is not practical for a lab. Yeah. So such solutions, the solution of IIS and debugging tools are fine for students, but this is not a good practice for lab, because you need to have a proper ASP server for your lab, because lab is lab. You are working you will be doing some serious work in the lab. So for that you need to have serious resources. Okay. Due to security holes of IIS, you can have hundreds of security risks on a given network. Yeah, it means that IIS is not secure. There are a lot of security patches or holes in the IIS, and one can have hundreds of security risks on a given network, the network on which he is using that server. This is what it means. In the real world situation, all apps will be placed on a server anyway. Oh, in the real world situation, all apps will be placed on a server anywhere or anywhere. Okay, so it means that your all apps will be placed on a server. So this is not fine. So this is what we studied so far. We studied almost 15 slides today, and I hope you have understood a lot of things. I'm keen to, because we can't finish 84 slides today, so, and the time is also almost over. So at the end, I'm just keen to give you 5 minutes break or 10 minutes break, so that you can have some refreshment. And that's all for today. Thank you, and I hope you would have understood